day, we have two distance finals at the end here, Gordon, and we have Sifan Hassan completing one leg of the Hassanathon here. She is now 11,500 meters complete with 13,000 meters to go, and she picks up her first gold medal. And she does it on a day when she had to run in the morning session as well, too. So this is the only time that she'll have to run two races in one day. The pace was comfortable early on. They went 8:59 through 3K, and Hassan did what Hassan has done throughout her career, which is close really hard, 57 point for that last 400. I didn't think she was even going to attempt to do three events. And now that she has one down, and just judging by how she's looked so far, you got to say this is shaping up pretty nicely for Hassan.
Yes, it's shaping up pretty nicely. But I would say, though, this 1500 that she has coming up, it's definitely going to be the hardest of the three, looking now, seeing how this 5K unfolded. I do think Kipyegon is going to be an incredibly tough challenge for her to do. But if she were to pull off the 15, then all that momentum, she's going to be a super lock in my mind for that 10K. I think it's either going to be gold, silver, gold, or gold, gold, gold. So that's what I'm guessing. I think no matter what, she's going to win that 10K based on what we see here in this 5K. Her kick coming off of a prelim, which, we could argue like, oh, double. And I don't think that prelim really took much out of her. It was in the morning. In reality, all she did was ran.
She had to run a pretty fast last four after she.
Yeah, but it's 400 meters. If you run a fast 400 meters at like 9 a.m., how much does that take out of your legs at 10 p.m.? I don't know.
If you're Sifan Hassan, apparently not much. You're right. Yeah. If you're Sifan Hassan, not much. Correct.
I gotta charge my computer. Hold up.
Yeah. Well, listen. While you charge your computer, I'll just say this: each event posed a different challenge when you look at it. So 5,000 was the only one that she had to do with multiple running events on the same day. The 1,500, it has her greatest rival, I think, her greatest individual threat in Kipyegon. And then the 10,000 is at the end. So that's the race that's the longest, but also you have the cumulative toll of all the races that come before it. But there was a lot of talk about Obiri in this race being like a rival for Hassan. And I understand that because she won the 5,000 meter world title in 2019 when Hassan didn't run. But I thought Sagai would have been the greater threat here. She's run 3:53 indoors in a 1,500. So she's got that top level 1,500 speed that someone like Hassan has. And she'd run 14:13 in a 5K. And Hassan put her in the rear.
She was undefeated this year. This year.
Yeah. And Obiri, she's a gamer, was right there at the end and gets up for silver. All credit to her. But this might be the quote-unquote weaker of the three fields, but none of these races are going to be walkovers for Hassan. Like, she's going against historical greats in all of them. With Kipyegon, you have someone who just ran that 3:51 in Monaco. With Sagai and Obiri, you have people who've run 14 teens, and Sagai's run 3:53. And then in the 10,000, you have Let's Kide, who's the world record holder. So there's triples, which we never see. And then there's this. This is so far beyond anything we've seen before. And it's also, I feel pretty confident saying it's going so far beyond anything we're going to see in the near future here, just because the level of competition that she's going to go against to do this is remarkable. There aren't any weak events in the three that she's trying here.
I mean, can you think of any great athlete, male or female, in the past 10, 20 years that could even attempt something like this, assuming this schedule, right? And, look back at past 5K, 10K, 1,500 meter champions on both the men's and women's side. I mean, Mo Farah obviously is the one who's won a bunch of 5 and 10s, but do you think Mo Farah could have ever done a 5, 10, 15 triple?
Well, funny enough, I think if you look at the all-time list, Mo Farah's 1,500 just on pure times, is his best time relative to the world list. But no, no, there's nobody out there. She stands alone, and in a way, the Doha World Championships was practice for this. We thought that was just an aberration because the schedule was weird. Oh ha ha ha! She does the 15 and the 10. That's a quirky situation, and she gets it done in both those races. And Kipyegon was good in that race, but Kipyegon is better now than she was and have been better previous. So you can chalk it up a little bit to that. But no, that's what makes this so audacious by her is just there's no precedent for it getting done in this era. Um, John Galt from Let's Run posted a thing about it'll be the best achievement in women's distance running, and I was like, well, what about men's distance running too? And obviously, you go back to Emil Zatopek, in the 40s and 50s, and he tripled at the Olympics running 5, 10, and marathon. But just the depth of distance running in the world right now is so much different than it was 70 years ago. It's hard to compare. You could look at other doubles and other singular amazing performances, but what she's going to do, and she's only a third of the way through. Let's be clear. She's still got 2 legs of this thing to go. It looks pretty good. What did you think? We always talk about team tactics in distance races, and I think it's one of the most overused terms because it rarely happens, and when it does, we don't even know how much effect it has. We saw in the men's 10,000 with Kissa of Uganda going out there and nobody following him, but it was used a lot during the Mo Farah era. Gordon, oh, are the Kenyans going to work together? Are the Ethiopians going to work together and make things fast? Here you had a situation where I think most people thought the faster the pace, the better for the field, right? Tire Hassan out just because the cumulative effect of all these races. But in order to do that, it requires cooperation, not just from the people in the race, but you're asking cooperation from people throughout 3 different events here to make things hard on Hassan. And that means almost Kenya has to play nice with Ethiopia to work together to get the pace going, which is why I don't think it's going to happen. Kipyegon on her own is going to be an incredible threat and tough to beat. But what did you think about this race and just how easy it was for Hassan and how nicely it fits into what she's trying to do over these next few days? Like, do you think this was the easiest path forward for her? Were you surprised that people didn't make it harder on her?
Yeah, I'm always surprised sitting from the couch. Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? But then I always have to remind myself they don't give a flying lick of what we think or what people think is the best strategy. The only strategy they care about is not like the 10-foot wide looking what's from I don't know how to do analogies. Like looking at all the permutations in the room. They're thinking about themselves
Sure.
and they're not thinking about they're not like, ooh, big bad scary Hassan. They're just thinking, go into this race, run how I normally run to try to win races, and don't think
Yeah.
about the factors of what Sifan Hassan is. It's the same way no one really thought. I mean, sometimes they try to think about it with Mo Farah, but in the end, it never worked. So I think
Yeah.
distance runners just like to not overthink it. Like they're always told, because whenever you ask, hey, were you thinking about like, the competition and how what did you think about this race? Did you want to go slow or fast? And they always say, I just got to
Mhm.
run my race. I just have to run my race.
Yeah.
It's like the universal to clown question, bro. I'm just not going to listen. I mean, that's what they said that's what Ry Benjamin said when he was going up against Carson Warholm in a semi. He said, were you thinking about him? He's like, no, I'm just thinking about my lane. Because once you
Yeah.
start thinking about other people, crazy things happen.
Well, and I get it in the sprints because tactically, not really an impact there. I guess if you go out hard, you could try to influence people in a 400 or 400-meter hurdle race, but it's just so fluid in a distance race. And I think you're right, though. But I think also, why does a 5,000-meter runner who's not running the 10,000 really care that much about the 10,000? They're going to put all their mental energy into the 5,000. So asking them to sacrifice to push the pace and perhaps lessen their chance, but increase the field's chances against Hassan, I don't think they're going to listen too much to that. When it's like, wait, I'm supposed to help her lose a race and later on, I want to win my race or I want to try to medal in my race because this was a deep, solid field, and Hassan won going away. Like this was not her getting pushed in the least. And I agree with you. I think this is things going to come down to the 1500. All respect to Gaudet in the 10K, but I think Hassan is a bit more comfortable just controlling that race and knowing that she can close better. This comes down to closing speed, and Kipyegon is somebody who's proven that she can close quicker than Hassan. Nobody else in the world really has consistently done that.
I'm about to contradict myself. Got to run my own race. But you think Gaudet is watching all this unfold, seeing her win this 5K,
Mhm.
fall in a 1500 prelim, come back. She's probably gonna do well in the 1500, and she's like, "All right, I'm gonna, I'm just gonna run the world record. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna run the world record, and there's no
Yeah,
way
yeah.
another woman can run world record pace after doing this for an entire week." Now that's me saying
That
don't run your own race, overthink it, but you have to
well,
think
that
like, yeah,
yes. Two problems though. That would be the blueprint. Two problems though. Is anybody going to help her and go with her? Is she going to get an Ethiopian teammate to help her? Do they actually try this? And two, the weather. We saw it rained there today, which lessened the humidity, I bet, a bit. But I mean, you saw the toll it took throughout the sessions today and yesterday as well, too. I just think you're putting yourself in a huge disadvantage to do it. And I think so when they get to the start line, Hassan will have run what 13,500 meters already, and Gade will have run zero. But I think if you let Hassan hang around until there's 5K or 3K to go, she's gonna smell blood in the water at that point. And I think she's all that momentum, all that adrenaline of oh man, I only got one more to go is gonna be working in her favor. But yeah, you're absolutely right. But I'm just talking about in a singular race, who's someone we've seen not just edge Hassan because Hassan was off her game, but go toe to toe with Hassan and beat her. And that was Kipyegon earlier this year in Monaco. Totally different setup here in the championship, but we've seen Kipyegon do it, and we've seen Kipyegon win global gold. So I think that's still the toughest test. But you're absolutely right. She should do that. Will that happen? It never seems to come to fruition, but we haven't seen someone go for a triple before.
it's true.